And we are live. So welcome everyone to our super duper webinar that we have here. This is a brand new experience, having different entrepreneurs from different countries coming to join us for the 8 big secrets. Each of them have got their own of what it is that they went through as a breakthrough to be able to actually shift their own thinking. As you're going through this yourself, no matter where you're at in your journey right now, you're gonna get huge value just getting connected in with the people that we have on this call, 8 entrepreneurs from 8 countries, just really that entrepreneurship is a global language. Like, we all go through exactly the same challenges. We all start from zero, and we all have to go through that same journey, but we can all learn from each other as we go as well. So before I kick off, let's do this. Let me start by sharing my screen so I can introduce to you the different people who are going to be sharing on this call as well. So I'm gonna actually share my entire screen at the moment. No, I'm not. I'm gonna share this page here, which is the page of the slides. So you can see here that we have got 8 different people that we have invited onto the call. We have Tamami, who is from Japan. We have Nadasit from Thailand. We have Mark from Australia, Angie from New Zealand, Jane from South Africa, Lena from Lithuania, Simon from England, and Christian from Portugal. We have Angie and Simon at the moment who are working out their own challenges to get on the call. We have Tamami, Nadasit, Mark, Jane, Lena, and Christian already on the call. You may recognize some of these faces because we already have been writing a number of different stories and posting them. We've posted Mark's story, we've posted Christian's story. You know, Angie and Simon have both had their stories also being shared, because every one of us has got a story to tell. And as you see the key things as we go through in this call, how everyone has a different journey, but we all have got these fundamental things that we need to break through as we go. I want to also share with everyone before we get and jump into the call as well. And if you wonder why it's dark here, it's actually 11 at night at the moment. I'm right now on the Pacific Coast. I'm in Oregon. My daughter Kathleen is about to graduate. So we are here, just arrived here actually from Colorado, where I was at Jeff Walker's program with about 50 multi-millionaire marketers, where we were all sharing about the latest information. I've done a behind the scenes video, which I'm posting for everyone who's come and joined our Entrepreneur Mentor certification at Genius Entrepreneur Mastermind. So those of you who are part of that, you're gonna see that. And I'm gonna just share a couple of links as I go, so you can also navigate and join in with us as well. So you've seen here, I now shared my entire screen. I'm gonna take you first of all to this page. If you are not yet inside the Entrepreneur Movement, I recommend that you go to Facebook. You basically just search for the Entrepreneur Movement and you join the group. If you're one of the 12,895 people who have joined, then you can go straight to this group now, and you'll see that under here, I have just posted here all the links, and I'm gonna just post here. As you can see, people already posting. Hi everyone, please post where you are in the world right now. And so hopefully everyone will go in there and start posting. You can actually click a like as well, so that everyone knows that you're here. Go ahead and actually start making your comments. And as we go through this, you get an opportunity to write your own comments down here. You've got an opportunity to be able to ask any questions. And if we have any time, which might be tight, we might pull 1 or 2 questions from here as well. So that's the first thing, right? Second thing is, everything we're doing right now, including this webinar, is in the backdrop of what we have been sharing with this video series here, right? So this whole video series, many of you have been part of, it's called the Entrepreneur Movement. We have now got, I believe, 27,000 people who have opted in and been watching these different videos as well. So we are about to take the videos down. They're all going down within the next couple of days. So if you have missed any of them, please go and make sure you watch them by the weekend. And then the other thing that we have also got is this, which has come off the back of it, is our Entrepreneur Mastermind and Mentor Certification. We are going to be closing this on Tuesday. So thank you to everyone who's already part of this. You're going to basically see the fundamentals of everything we're talking about. The map of entrepreneurship and all the key steps are all explained in here. And we have a 12-week journey that many of us are going on. If you have not yet registered for this, I highly recommend that you become part of it. We're only doing this once this year. This is the first time we pulled all of the information and everything you're going to hear in this webinar together in one place, and making it easy and simple for everyone to really understand how to be a part of this. And like I said, we're closing in 5 days by Tuesday, so we can actually start on Friday. So Friday is the first day when we're actually going to be going, which is super awesome as well. So have a look at that. And these are the links to each of the people. Here's Tamami's links. Oh, look, you can see everyone posting here. Here is Now to switch links, I'm going to ask Michelle, who is on this call as well, to be posting a little bit of each person so you can connect up with them as well. There's Mark, there's Angie, here's Jane, here's Lena, here's Simon with his property investing company, and here is Christian. As you can see, his podcast has gone to #2 in the iTunes on UK, when it's very, very specifically for people who are looking to get out of the rat race and to be able to actually grow their business as well. And that all came off the back of his own experience from being in the music industry and then starting his own business. And he's now in Portugal, where he's now got a second home outside of London. So we're going to have a chance to connect up with everyone there. We also have got everyone's pages here. So here is Angie's page, Education Angels, where she's out there leading the way with education. Here is Lena's page, where she is in Lithuania, and she is really transforming the entire entrepreneurial vibe that's happening right now in Lithuania. You've got here Nadasit with his Wealth Dynamics in Thailand. So we're talking about partnerships, which is one of the big things that came up. We've also got here Tamami in Japan and everything that she's been doing in growing $1 million business there. We've got Mark's business here, which is everything from design of jewelry to his new restaurant, through to his primitive tribal art, through to his tattoo. And we've also got here Jane's company, Magnetic Storm, that she has built together with the partners and with those who were there before her. So she's there actually working in the company and helping to grow it right now. This is, as we mentioned before, Christian's site. Here is Simon. And don't worry if I'm going too fast. We're going to have a chance to really talk to each person as we go as well. But we're going to be just seeing how everyone, and doesn't matter what your industry is, doesn't matter what your country is, entrepreneurship is exactly the same at every step in terms of the challenges we go through as we go as well. All right, so coming back to this here, as well as I just mentioned, these two things, we did post within the entrepreneur movement just a couple of days ago. What is the biggest challenge that you are facing right now that you're looking to overcome in your business? Many of you voted, and the one that came out top is finding the best way to combine profit and purpose. Second one is finding the best partners for growth. Third one is finding the right team members, then attracting more customers. Then there are others around financing, new income streams, and so on. We're going to focus at these top 4. So there's a very good chance, because I know everyone who's on this call right now, that the fundamental things that they've been learning, the key things that they've been experiencing, are going to actually connect in with one or more of these ones. And you'll notice it's all about people. It's like combining profit and purpose is all about you and what your purpose is. Finding the best partners is obviously the people on the market. Finding the right team members are the people within your team. And attracting more customers are the ones that are going to pay you the money. So it's all about people. And everything we're going to go through is about how fundamentally entrepreneurship and the whole idea of being an entrepreneur is a lesson in self-awareness. The whole thing is basically a mirror. So if you're worried that your business isn't giving the result you want, just know your business is a mirror. And the more that you realize that, the more you realize that if you want your business to change, then it's first you that has to change. So I am going to kick it off with the first person that I'm going to ask to share, which is Lena. Lena is in Lithuania right now. And what I'm going to do, and Lena actually, she was in Lithuania. First time I met her, she came out to Bali. She wanted her family to come out here to experience the green school. She came out, she worked with us for a while. She ran together with others within Bali. She started running workshops for women, went back to Lithuania, built that into a business, but connected to flow to be able to create flow as well. And so, Lena, I'm going to kick it off with you, and I'd love for you to share with everyone, what would be one thing that you would now say back to the person you were before you knew better, as the secret hidden in plain sight, that the moment you got it, everything started to change for you. And now you can't imagine running your business without this one thing that before you weren't even aware of or you didn't even believe. So Lena, hello.
Hello, everybody. Oh wow, what a journey! Thinking back to Bali, and it's been 2 years, I left my job about 4 or 5 years ago, not knowing what to do, and this is when I came to iLab. It's been a huge transformation for me when I realized that I do have a voice and I can, use it. I started doing workshops. And I relied all the time on myself, Once I found my voice, I wanted to speak it.
Oh, it looks like we have got Lena on pause right now. Lena, have we lost you? Hold that thought. Okay, until we get Lena back, I am going to come over to a second person, which is Jane. Hang on a second. Lena's just come back on another line. Lena.
Yeah, I'm back. Yeah, something just crashed. So, you know.
Okay, we got two Lenas. I can see them down below.
Oh,
but all right, I'm going to come back to you. We got to the point where you said that you were just making that switch. So carry on.
So I made a switch from a job to my own solo entrepreneur career, and I relied on myself all the time. You know, I worked nights and days, and it was good. You know, it was good to see the results. But then one day I realized I'm burning down. I can't do it anymore. And it was very, very difficult for me to really understand I have to trust other people. I thought I was trusting. I thought, I worked in teams, but only when I realized that I can allow other people to make mistakes in my business and that we will grow together. This was the moment when I opened up and actually allowed people in. And the transformation has been amazing. And
Lena, before you jump into transformation, if I'm sitting watching this webinar and I'm hearing you say, okay, so Lena says I need to trust more, but I've had that experience. I've tried to trust people before. I've given people things to do. They didn't do it. Or I had a partner that, I thought was a good partner and then they ran off with the money or whatever it is. It's like so many people have been burnt with trust. Can you share with everyone the difference of trusting blindly as opposed to being able to delegate as opposed to abdicate, and to be able to give effectively as opposed to just give blindly? The difference that you learned about what it really is to be able to trust, so you're not having to hold it onto yourself, but trust in a way that's effective, because there's a really big difference. And a lot of people think, oh, well, I can't do that, and it's easy for some people, but it is actually a learned skill, which is something that you learned. So can you talk a little bit about that to everybody, about the difference of those two things?
For me, the difference came when I realized it's not that other people are supporting me and doing things for me, but actually I have to reverse it when they are excited about what they do, and then I support them on their journey. It's that, they do it for themselves. They are inspired, they are growing, and then, I'm open to help them. And
and again, I'm going to pause again because this is so important. When you go out, and I'm showing to everyone who's watching this right now, if you're saying, I don't trust people to do things for me, and what Lena's saying is well, then you're always going to never trust anyone. You're going to do your own thing. So the difference of basically trying to get people to meet your expectation as opposed to finding out what their expectation is and then helping them to get to their expectation, because you can trust that they're going to do the best thing for their own interest. So the more you can do things for their interest in a way that then also benefits you, but in a way that most importantly puts them first, then of course you can trust they're going to do it because it's in their best interest to do it. Whereas why would it be in their best interest to help you in the first place? So that element of what Lena's saying, which is having to work out what it is, I tend to spend more time to figure out what it is that they really want, whether it's your team or your partners. And then from that, to be able to trust the fact that they really want that enough that they're going to help you as well. It may mean that your business grows slower. It may mean that you might have to give up more of what you're doing, or even put off of some of what you're doing, because where they want to go is different from where you want to go. But the more you can help them to get to where they want to go, the more they're going to help you back as well. Do you want to talk to that, Lena, in terms of that? Because it's such an important realization, and it's a secret hidden in plain sight. Trust people more, but do it in the most effective way. That's secret number one. Can you share how that then led you to magical new ways of supporting other people, and how the benefit of being an entrepreneur was so much more than just you getting things, but your ability to give to others?
For me, it meant a huge expansion, because suddenly, people around me, they are so excited that, they are organizing meetings. Now they are pushing something that I thought was mine when it became ours. I don't have to put so much effort into that, but it's very, very important to ask everybody, are you excited? Are you in for it? Are you committed? And why? And then, and then help them with that why. It's so I have amazing partners who are representing me in the market. They are selling my workshops, and we worked out the system that works for both of us. And now, it's a real partnership where we discuss things and we create things together. And this allows me to go to the next level, and also have team members.
And you're seeing off the back of this, the growth in the business itself. So your business clearly has grown. I mean, obviously you didn't have a business when you got started and we started working together, and you were just working on, you just had the mission that you wanted to actually help women leaders. And then you also wanted to help entrepreneurs in Lithuania as well. So now that you're seeing that growth is growing as well. I'm going to come back to you, Lena, later in the call. Everyone who goes and looks at Lena's site, you'll see that she's now not just someone, another mentor or coach in Lithuania. She's the leading mentor or coach supporting entrepreneurs. She's running monthly entrepreneur socials in partnership with us, which is like the place that people now go within Lithuania to be able to actually get connected to the top entrepreneurs as well. So with that in mind, I'm going to come over to Christian, where Christian had a similar story in a very different way, in that he was actually at the beginning of his story stuck inside the music industry. And you might have seen, the interview that I did with Christian, where he said that, what he actually generated within 2.5 years of leaving the music industry was more than 16 years of building up inside the music industry as an employee. And most importantly, setting up that pathway for himself. So same question to you, Christian. If that was secret number one, what was the secret hidden in plain sight for you that when you overcame that really made all the difference in terms of your ability to be able to do something that had taken you many, many years, if not a decade, to actually get to that same point? So hello, Christian. Are you in Portugal right now?
Hey, I certainly am Portugal in the background here.
Wow.
So I was really stuck in a rat race, as you just said, Roger. I'd spent 16 years in a job, and the music industry was lots of fun, and I had really good times, excuse me, really good times there. But I think I was at that position where a lot of people find themselves, where that you're not passionate about what you're getting up and going to do every day. And you're kind of just stuck in that cycle of just doing the same thing and trading time for money. And you want to do something else, but you're not sure what else to do. And I just really kind of took a leap of faith into the unknown. And the one thing I knew, that I needed to build a new network. And so I set up a meetup group and called it Escape the Rat Race. And I just was going to be happy if there was like 4 or 5 people that came along to that first meeting, and we could exchange some ideas, similar thoughts. And I had 40 people turn up that night. And within a year, I built a group of over 1,000 members. And so for me, it's very clear that you need to build a peer group around you of people who share similar mindset and on that same journey. And so for me, it's peer group. And one of the best communities that I found in the last 2.5 years has definitely been the Entrepreneurs Institute. And now the Entrepreneur Movement is just, I think, the best place for anyone who's in that same position, in a job, but just had enough, wanting to get out, wanting to start, taking control of their lives and do their own thing, really living life, with passion and purpose. I believe that the Entrepreneur Movement is 100% the best place for these people to begin.
I just unmuted myself. That is awesome. And thank you for sharing that. And I think that there's something really powerful in that second element. And by the way, just if everyone's wondering, did Roger ask everyone before the call to figure out what their big secret was? Actually, just about 2 minutes before we actually got on the call, I said, right, guys, before we get on the call, just think, what's that one thing you'd actually advise yourself when you're getting started that they have to be spending more focus at? Because now you realize it's the truth of what makes the biggest difference. And I'm hearing for the first time from each of the 8 of them, what is the big secret for them? And each one of them is going to be different in one form. What you just heard from Christian, which I love, is that whole element that it's not about waiting for the right connections to come your way, but it's creating the space for connections to happen, right? And the concept of peer power, that if you're thinking, well, I don't have the support around me, you can do one of 2 things. You can do what Christian did, which is create the space themselves. I'm going to create the space for people that I want to be around to want to show up to. Or you go find the space and you actually go join that as well. And what Christian's doing is actually both. On the one hand, he's creating the space for the people locally where he is. And on the other hand, he's connecting up with us and being part of the entire group, the Entrepreneur Movement. Christian's also one of our consultants. He's also someone who's come out to Bali, got connected up with everything that we're doing, got connected up online as well, and now is one of our city leaders. So, Christian, if you were to have gone back to where you were, maybe let's say 10 years earlier than when you actually were to leave, and you were able to convince the younger Christian to get connected to the right people earlier, how much do you think that would have accelerated your journey?
Well, massively, massively. It's funny because I've always been a huge fan of personal development, even back to like 2004, you know, the first CD or book that I read was like Jim Rohn, and then that led to Rich Dad Poor Dad and 4-Hour Work Week. And for people who just discover this world of personal development and entrepreneurship, it seems like people just never go back. And sometimes it can take a while, you know, it doesn't happen immediately. And for me, I guess I was comfortable, you know, I was earning, you know, decent money. I was enjoying my job. And I think that, you know, comfort is the enemy of success, and you need to be made uncomfortable. And that may come from a turning point in your life where you've just, in your job, you've had enough, or you may need, you know, the support of a mentor or someone who's already a few steps ahead to kind of give you a poke and kind of give you that nudge to actually take action.
Awesome. Thank you, Christian. I'm going to come back to you as I did with Lena earlier. I love what you say there, that comfort is the enemy of success. And you know what's so interesting is I know some people listening to this, they totally resonate with that. They're like, yeah, you know what? You know, I've been thinking for a long time about starting a new thing up or getting something going, but I haven't set that target, that goal to say it has to happen within 3 months. It has to happen now. And that's why it's still not happened yet. And for some of you, it's like, well, I'm not comfortable. But there's a truth in the fact that some people are comfortable being uncomfortable. It's like, you know, yeah, I want to change, but you're so used to saying I want to change that actually that's become comfortable. It's become a habit to say I want to change, but it's difficult to make a change. And the biggest thing we see is we blame things around us. We spend more time talking about the government or the economy or some reason that it's difficult to do it. We believe it's not easy. So if you find yourself in a position where it's like, I'm still repeating a cycle where, to be honest, I don't actually want to be here anymore. I want to shift it. Then almost every time it's going to come, just like it has in my life, every time when I get to a comfort level or what I call a plateau, a ceiling, where things are still the same month after month without them changing, and it's not where I want to be. The moment that happens is the moment I think, well, then I have to make myself uncomfortable enough to move again. In the same way that you might be there thinking, you know, you got to get out of the house, but you're not getting out of the house. Fireman comes and says fire, and now you've got consequences for staying in the house, and you get out of the house real fast. So what do you need to do to make yourself less comfortable and say, right, I'm going to set a target, set a goal, do something that otherwise would feel uncomfortable. Even if it's come joining us in what we're doing, if it feels uncomfortable with the idea that you have to commit into it, commit time, commit investment to be part of it, use that as an example of something to say, well, then maybe this is the right time for me to join and be part of this. Because everyone who's coming on board does not want to stay where they are. They want to move to that next level as well. Okay, I'm going to come to a third person here. So we had two people so far, in Lena and Christian, who've started from a place where they were in a job. They said, okay, I have enough of this. And then they moved and actually grown and built their business. Let's take an example of someone in Thailand. I'm going to come to Nadasit now, who was already figuring out things within his own business. He had his own media business, and he was like, but it's not where I want it to be. I want to grow and achieve something more. You know, he contacted us. He came out, you know, met up with us. He brought all of the tools back into Thailand. The first time, like I said, look, you know, see if you can get 1,000 people in the room. Within a year and a half, he had 1,000 people in a room. And the way he stepped up to do that and actually to build what is now the largest entrepreneur network in Thailand, connected to what we're doing all around the world. I'd love you, Nadasit, to share what is that one secret, that one truth that you now know to be true, that you would advise your past self to get clear about faster. What would that be for you? Hey, Nadasit.
Hello, Roger, and hello, hi everyone. It's very exciting. What I am going to advise myself back then is like to do.
Thanks so much.
Oh, sorry, that was Angie. Angie just jumped on. Angie, can you mute for a second, and then we're going to come to you later. Okay, awesome. Back to you, Nadasit.
Okay, my advice is that because my well dynamic profile is star, right? After I do the test and then I fell in love with the products, and I also jump to the plane and flew directly to you, right? So what I found out is that by being the star, my key success is to find a partnership. Find partnership both of the product and also both of the customer as well. I did this so many times, but I don't realize myself until I do the test of Well Dynamics. So by being partnership for the product is like I went directly to you, right, Roger? And then after that, I'm still wondering because I have no experience in education business or training business, I have no idea, because I used to be in digital marketing agency. So I'm trying to find out what kind of customer that I would like to sell, and what kind of solution that they they will feel that it will solve their problems. There are three of the main partners. The first one is BNI, Business Network International, and second one is the publisher who do the publishing, the Millionaire Master Plan in Thai version, and the third one is all the speakers that already own the customer. So what I found out is that I formed the partnership by attending their seminar, in the top influencers seminar, and trying to show up every time, trying to talk to them, get them some advice, something like that. So they just notice me, and then I find a way to link their customer to the Roger products by me presenting it. So this is what I did in the past.
So
it's a huge,
This is so important. This is so much like what both Christian and Lena just shared. It's the reverse of what most people do. So many people, we're there like, I just want the river to come to me, as opposed to saying, wait, if I just go to the river, I'm going to be in flow the whole time. And what you just said about partnership is so important, because you've talked about the power of partnership, and that's one of the big top ones. It's like number 2 on our list of like, how do I make that happen? And most people, what they're doing is they're trying to go out and find partners and saying, why is it so difficult to find partners? What you've just said is you didn't go out looking to find partners, you went out to become the partner of others. So this is secret number 3, right? Secret number 3 is all about be the partner to others before you expect them to be yours. And that is such a critical thing. And you notice that what Nadisha did was not even start by being their partner, he started by being their customer. He said, be a customer first, because no one's going to turn you away from being a customer. So you want to work with BNI, join BNI. You want to work with Roger Hamilton, then go and actually attend the program. And so Nadisha invested time and money to be a customer first. So then they got noticed. Then they became, number 1 model customer, giving testimonials, being supportive, and then sending, the message on to others, bringing other people into it as well. And then from there, become a partner. And then it's just a matter of time before the partnership goes both ways, because everyone wants to actually work with someone. Every river has got tributaries off it, right? So if you want to actually have a river, go to a river and then become a tributary, as opposed to trying to dig a river in a desert where you end up digging a hole, right? And no water is going to come to the desert, because by its nature, that's not where rivers go. So Nadisha, with that being shared, that switch, what would you say now about your confidence level, now that you know that's the formula, that's the secret, your confidence level of being able to really partner with anyone in the world that you wanted to, because you know the formula to do it. Like just share a little bit about, whether you have a fear now about partnerships, or whether you just know if there's someone you want to partner with, what the formula is to actually end up with them being your partner.
Yes. So actually, the fear is normal to me. When I play a bigger game, the fear is grow stronger. That I can say frankly. But what I did is that when there is a fear, I think that there is the bonus, or there is a future in there as well. So every time that I step up to do a bigger game, there is a bonus for me in my life. Whether or not it's fail or whether or not it's success, it's gonna be, how can I say, it's like a monument that I can recall. So every time I did that, people get notice me, and every time people get notice me, I get my business growing as well.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Nadisha. I'll come back to you at the end today as well.
Okay.
But I want to make sure we cover everyone. We have everyone on the call now. I'm going to do this. I'm going to invite one more person to share. Then I'm going to do a summary of the first 4, and then we are going to be going to the next 4 as well, right? So if you just joined the call, if you come a little bit later and say, wait, what were the first secrets I missed? I'll give a recap, but definitely go back to the recording and watch the first few as well, because there's some real gems that are coming out of this right now. So the next person that I'm going to get to share, because we've so far gone on a whistle-stop tour of Lena in Thailand, Christian in Portugal, Nadisha Lena in Lithuania, Christian in Portugal, Nadisha in Thailand, and now we're going to go to Japan, where I'm going to ask Tamami, who has a totally different profile from Nadisha. She's a law profile, and if you don't know what the wealth dynamics profiles are, that's all part of what we're going to be doing within our Genius Entrepreneur Mastermind. But that is someone who's much more analytical. I'd love for you, Tamami, to share from you. And just so everyone knows, in Tamami, first time I met Tamami, she was in the event industry. She was looking at how she might be able to build her passion, which was all about personal development, all about events, even though she couldn't ever see herself presenting on stage. So as a result of that, she found a pathway that would work for her. She now has got one of the largest event organizing companies. It's definitely #1 for entrepreneurship in all of Japan. Every time I go to Tokyo, there's always 500-600 people that will show up there. She's built an entire coaching community for wealth dynamics and for our tools as well. And every time we run big events, they always have many Japanese contingents who come along as well. So Tamami, what would the #1 thing be for you in terms of the secret that now you realize is the one that all entrepreneurs that are successful also follow?
Yes, that's definitely how to lead. As Roger explained, I'm not like star or creator or supporter of those kind of leadership. I don't have. So I was always finding difficulty facing people, hiring people, and and managing people and all that. But with the with the team charter and the document and the clarity, if I have in the future, and the goal, if I have a clarity of goal, that's really, it works in the leadership, in the company. And I always feel that people who has more certainty has the way, and definitely wealth dynamics, the profile and the spectrum gives you the certainty, and that's how I lead. And I'm sure, like definitely tempo people and steel people definitely need that. And I feel that all the I actually have 1,000. I created more than 1,000 coaches, and I see, and especially in Japan, there's so many steel people and tempo people, and I just love to teach how to lead to those people.
Wow, that's so there's a real fundamental core to what Tamami's sharing when it comes to leadership, which is certainty. Well, it's clarity and then certainty. And it's not even needing to know exactly how you're going to get there. It's just having that clarity and certainty, which then creates that real power. And we think about it, when you've got two people in an argument, who wins the argument? Whoever's most certain, right? When you've got two people like giving directions, who are you going to follow? The one who's more certain. So certainty is the power which allows others to get attracted to you. The leader who always ends up getting to where they want to get to are the one that are more certain to get there, because everyone that's going to then follow goes with them as well. And Tamami, with that, what have you seen in terms of the attraction? Like you already said, you've got over 1,000 coaches now that have come your way and working with you. What have you seen in terms of your own vision of the difference you can now make in Japan, in terms of even your own certainty on your purpose? Because purpose and profit was one of the big things that came out. You've clearly got a big business that's now profitable or very profitable. And at the same time, you're making a huge difference within Japan. So can you share a bit about the mission you now have really to support entrepreneurs in Japan, and how that's attracting the very top entrepreneurs to be supporting you as well?
Yes, I have several community actually, and I have now 4 companies, and the leading company is definitely the Wealth Dynamics and promoting Roger. So based on that, I'm surrounded with entrepreneurs, and my passion is to help entrepreneur smoothly going up the state, up the steps. And I find at this moment, so many people are having difficulty from yellow to green. And as a Lord, I think I'm not a good entrepreneur. And I think I'm more the good CEO, And I'm not at this moment. I can start business, and if it's like a system in there already. But definitely, I would like to help how to run the business, instead of how to start the business. And that's the vision I have at this moment.
So there's something really powerful about that idea of having job security for life. When you know that you have that ability to always be able to start something new because you know the steps and you know the order in which things happen. It's like a chef knowing that they're always going to know how to cook. Even if you take all the ingredients away, they'll figure it out. right? And in exactly the same way, so many people end up kind of like, you know, sitting at the dinner table, you know, fearful that the chef isn't going to show up and they're not going to eat today, which is what an employee is if they have no way of knowing what happens if they lose their job, right? Like, how am I actually going to get fed? But when you actually realize that you always have the ability to be resourceful, to find the things that you can create something with, whether it's a chef with food or whether it's an entrepreneur with money, there's always a way to make sure that you're always looked after. And if you don't have those skill sets, you have to learn those skill sets as we go as well. So that fourth element, leadership, is critical. So I'm just going to give you a quick summary of the four. I'm going at pace because we just have 1 hour to really compress into these 8 key secrets. And as you're hearing, each one of them is different in a different way. The first one, which we heard from Lena, number 1, is trust others, but trust others to follow their own dreams, which means that your job is not to try and get them to follow your dreams. Your job is to get them to be clear on what their dreams are, you to help them to get there. And in the process, you also are getting the support you need for your dreams too. So that fundamental effort, that fundamental focus is being able to provide trust. And the trust is not waiting for them to do things for you. Second thing was Christian, where he talked about creating a space for connections to happen. Don't wait for the connections to just show up. But you, like Woody Allen says, 80% of success is showing up. You've got to either create that space as he has with his events, or go and actually get into a network like ours, where you actually then know you're going to every day. Just like if you're on the football pitch, you're going to have the ball kicked to you all the time. Similarly, if you're in the right entrepreneur environment, you're going to have opportunities coming up to you all the time as well. Third thing is what Natus has shared, which is be a partner to others before expecting them to be your partner. And as you heard in his case, he went out and became their customer before even becoming the partner. But then it was very easy to build trust from the inside. And that then allowed him to get all the right partnerships in return as well. And then finally, Tamami, talking about leadership itself, clarity and certainty, and putting those in place, because then you attract everyone to you. Don't be uncertain or unclear and expect people are going to follow you. So I'm going to now share my screen because there's a few things I want to cover for those who just joined us, because I can see our numbers keep on going up on people coming on the call. And at the same time, I want to give a recap for everyone as well on some of the things that I shared earlier, plus some new things, right? So you can see my entire screen right now, and I'm sharing the whole screen because I left off at this slide, which was talking about the top things that you voted as being the things you're looking to overcome. I know already, just from what we've covered, there's going to be a number of things that came out which you're realizing you've been looking at it the wrong way around. And everything's about a mindset shift, where you have to unlearn what you're doing in order to learn in a different way. But I wanted to share this, which we did a Facebook Live on, which is exactly what Tamami was talking about, that you've got to get clarity in where you are and certainty in where you're going in order to then attract the connections to the right people, and then collaborate on a journey where it's not just you going to where you want to go, but it's taking them where they want to go as well. And then the contribution coming back the other way, right? It's like there's a limit to what you can get. There's no limit to what you can give the moment you get really clear and really certain about your own pathway. That's what Christian did. It's what Lena did. It took time, but by actually going down the right pathways where you're getting the right tests, like, we've got the purpose test, the passion test, the talent test, with the certainty, being really clear on what the pathway is, where you're going, sticking those things in first and making sure that you've got that and you're excited about that allows you then to actually move on to these other ones as well. What we had earlier in the call is I shared that we have got right now all these comments that are taking place on the entrepreneur movement. You can see there's a whole bunch of people have been inviting in and joining already, because the numbers have all gone up since we last spoke. You see that this page here, we've already got 51 comments that people have been commenting as we've been going. And I definitely recommend, if you're not part of the group yet, go join the group and then join in the comments here as well. All the people that are on the call at the moment have been commenting as we've been going, which is awesome to see. I'll go and read through all these afterwards, and I know that our entrepreneurs on this call will be doing the same as well. So I just wanted to share that's all going on here right now. And then also, I also wanted to share that these videos will be taken down. I mentioned this at the beginning of the call. We've got about 2-3 more days left, and these videos will be gone. So do make sure that you have a chance to watch them if you have missed any of them along the way, because they address specifically exactly the things we're talking about in this call. And also do know that we have got just 5 days left before we're going to be closing our Entrepreneur Mastermind. And I do want to share something about this before we get to the next 4 of our speakers. I do want to share that we designed this specifically so that those of you who are realizing that the biggest bottleneck is yourself, and that does not matter if you already have got successful businesses or if you're just trying to figure it out for the first time, you are at a glass ceiling right now. We all are, where the next step up is where we need to unlearn what we're doing to move up to that next level. So this is a 12-week program leading into a 12-month program where starting next Friday, we are already going to be walking through a week-by-week process where next Friday, if you're part of this program, I'm going to be sending you a video of me explaining why your values and vision are so important, how you set up your first 3 months, which is basically 3 months we're going to go on together. What the targets are you're going to be setting for yourself financially, health, relationships within your life to transform your life, even if you don't know how yet. And then from there, how you're going to learn the week after about your talents, you're going to learn the week after about your passions, learn the week after about your purpose, and actually then go step by step through the lighthouse together with me. I'm going to go through each of these steps with you because I'm going to set my own 12-week goals. You're going to see what my ones are, and we're going to actually walk through this as a team collectively together on this. And then what you're going to actually have at the end of this, by the time we have completed, is a 12-week success story where whatever is the big thing you want to change, we're all going to be in it together to support you to change it. There's a whole bunch of other things that you'll see in here as well, but the thrust of this is whatever is the big thing you want to shift, whether you are in a business where you're trying to get your time back, whether you are in multiple businesses where you're trying to figure out how to build your talent, whether you are in a job and you're trying to figure out how to make the most of it, or even start your own business, this is going to allow you to be able to see not just how you do it, but how others around you go through that shift as well. And you can see here, Colorado, just came from Colorado. I've already prepared a video, which I'm going to be releasing next week as well. And then now I'm going to be on my way to Melbourne and then off to Auckland. And there's a whole journey where you'll be on the inside with me as we go from one place to another. So I just wanted to share that because if you have not seen this or haven't had time to look at it yet, do know that we're about to close this as well. And would love to have you on board. And with that being shared, I'm going to come back. And the next person I'm going to be asking to share, stop my screen now, is going to be Jane. And the reason I'm going to ask Jane to share is that, Jane has actually been brought on for Magnetic Storm in order for her to take on the role of transforming that company. But the end point of it is she's realized that the only way she's going to be able to really, and Magnetic Storm already is one of, in fact, it is the #1 event organizer, experience organizer for amazing events that take place within Africa. But what I've seen in Jane is that she's really flourished in terms of her own identity, in terms of what her purpose is in life, in terms of like she doesn't even need to lead a business in order for her to actually start thinking entrepreneurially, to think differently, to connect globally. And then of course, all of that then becomes of huge value to the company itself. So Jane, I'd love you to share with everyone just your experience of what's that big secret or that big aha that you now are living that you weren't even really aware of before you met us and you were trying to find the right path forward. And Jane is in South Africa. So hello, Jane.
Morning to everybody. Thank you. Yeah, I think I've done things the other way around to everybody else, whereas I was an entrepreneur, I had my own business for 17, 18 years, and Magnetic Storm is actually a client of mine, and I've now come into a business fold, which is usually the other way around. And really grateful for that because our CEO, Glenn, was the one that introduced me to you, Roger. And the big aha moment, I think, is coming in as a consultant and business coach into an organization and recognizing how you need people for that growth. My big aha moment has been to not cap the thinking and the dreaming, because I think you can get so stuck in your current reality and the issues that are here that you can stop dreaming about the big stuff. And I think about Masters that we were at earlier this year and how you kept on saying to us where we started on our big dream and it wasn't nearly big enough, and you kept on pushing us and challenging us and saying that's rubbish, start again, go again. And we were like, this is huge, and just being able to take that leap of faith and believe that actually the world just offers you so many opportunities if you just believe in yourself enough to grasp it and grow with it. So my big aha moment has really been that bigger picture of growth and dreaming.
I love that. And I think a lot of people who are listening will be thinking, oh, it's fine for someone who's already successful or creating success, they can start thinking bigger. But what you're talking about is a real truth, which is, it's like the flower only grows bigger if you get a bigger flower plot. So you've actually got to think bigger in order for things to become bigger. You don't wait for things to become bigger and then say, now I can think bigger. And so that whole chicken and egg, where most people think, I'm not even going to allow myself to think bigger until evidence shows up, which is a bit like saying whether it's the flower pot or whether it's the fire. It's like, until the wood can show me it can go on fire, I'm not even going to light it, right? And then you wonder why you never get that flame or you never get that flow. Can you share a bit about how you're now thinking different yourself, as well as Glenn, right? In terms of what the potential is or the possibilities are and how that motivates you differently from the times when it feels like, you know, the world's on your shoulders and it's kind of like having to deal with the small stuff, how it changes your whole energy once you start actually thinking bigger in that way.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a lot of freedom that comes with that. I think Glenn and I are both very good at doing things. So we're good at fixing things. We're good at sort of saying to everybody, yeah, we can, and we'll do it, don't worry. And the big shift in mindset is to stop doing that. Because the moment you are the constant magic in the business, it means that you can never, ever walk away, and it can never succeed without you. And that's not what you're trying to build. You're not trying to build a legacy of you. You're trying to build a legacy of others and for others and with others. And that letting go, the thing that you've been talking about all day actually is the trust element, and realizing that 3 and 1 is 4, but so is 2 and 2. And just because people have a different way of doing things doesn't mean it's wrong. It just means it's different and it can work as well. And to let go of that and just, you know, face that fear of letting go and stopping that sort of, for me, definitely the control freak, and just allow others to blossom in a different way, and watch that magic just happen.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's the biggest key, is that so many of us, because we learn at school, we have to know how before we have to like rationalize how before we can give an answer. It's the total opposite with entrepreneurs, right? It's like we actually give the answer first and then we figure out how. And the bigger the answer, the bigger the mission, the more you attract better people. I find it every single time. It's exactly what Jane's talking about. Like you want to live a smaller mission, you're not going to attract great people. You want to live a bigger mission, a bigger vision. Even if it's someone else's you attach onto, you suddenly attract far better people. And that's where you want to be playing the game, because there's a whole lot more fun that way as well. All right, awesome. So so let's go straight from that to Mark. I'm going to come to Mark in Australia, right? So we're going from South Africa to Australia now. And as you see, every one of these is different in a different way. James is very much around, you know, like however big you're thinking, think bigger, right? Because your true potential is already so much greater, and you're doing yourself a disservice by not thinking bigger and not giving the world the best of you. In Mark's case, you know, he was already successful as a tattoo artist, but he had lost his time. He was in there doing it all himself. And it's like, how do I get out of this? You know, how do I break out of that? Today, Mark has not just, you know, got a tattoo studio, which is doing much better than it was before, with him actually putting in less time. He's got this entire art. If you haven't seen the story yet, you know, hopefully Michelle will post the story in here so you actually see the link to the Facebook story we mentioned. But now he's got not only his tattoo business, he's also got his art gallery. He's also got a new restaurant that he's actually started out. He's also got his jewelry business. And all of this has grown with him being able to be the investor, now looking after all the different elements, where he's now got multiple streams and multiple teams. Mark, I'd love you to share with everyone that journey all the way up to Lighthouse. What's been the biggest like moment of truth or that secret for you that you'd like to share with everyone?
Hi, everyone. Okay, so going back, when I was trading time for money, it was pretty much a run for myself to build my business. And I did not know really where I was going, but I lost a lot of time. And then, you know, forwarding it a few years later, going to the Entrepreneurs Institute, I learned a lot of the tools to how I can actually you know, leverage off others, train others, as well as, you know, find parts of my team. So as a result of all that learnings, I learned to trust and let go, as the others have said earlier, to, you know, mentor my teams, find their talents, and, you know, work together collectively to succeed in the business. So my first venture was my first passion, which was the tattooing business, in which we restructured, and I found all their hidden talents and strengths. I actually, you know, called collectively a lot of meetings to actually enhance their passions, or you know, work together to find their purpose as well. And as a result, they all became the experts within their field, within our business, and we all grew together. From that, I went on to tribal art collecting, and the same thing is, again, I you know, found the people that I wanted to partner with, and through the networks, I gained trust, like Nathan has said as well, and from there, I sought to be the expert within that particular field of art, which has led to my restaurant business now. So going, what Roger said, being comfortably uncomfortable, going into a business as an entrepreneur is not so easy. I used to learn from the books because I was actually a school dropout, but I love learning. So in turn, I took up all the personal growth books. Being my mother as a mentor has always encouraged me to read,
So Mark, I'm going to jump in on that big one thing that, like, as you became the expert in each of those areas, the only way you could become the expert is you helped each of your team members to become the expert. And I really want to encourage everyone who's listening in on this, where it's like, how come I can't find the right team members? Is ask yourself, when you do find a team member, do you enhance that team member so much that others think, oh my gosh, I have to go work for them? You know, are you yet at a point where you're focused as much at that team member and their pathway, at that talent pathway, as you are at your customer and the customer pathway? Because if you think of your team as your staff, you're never going to get far. But if you think of your team as like the X-Men, right? You think of them like the A-team, and everyone who comes on actually feels like that. They've got superpowers, and you've actually allowed them to actually become more of who they are by being part of your company. They're not. They'll stick with you for a long time, and they'll tell others. And then you build that reputation of being a people builder that actually then creates, for everyone who comes on board, an entirely new reality from what they had before. So this, and I know Mark does this so well in actually really looking after each of them. And so the learning is not the learning from book knowledge. The learning is the learning in terms of each individual you come to. Mark, I'd love for you to just share that insight about how important it is to slow down, almost to spend more time with everyone, as opposed to go rushing looking for new people and then finding it difficult to do. Just that discipline that you've been learning, and that now you've seen the difference in your own team as a result of doing that.
Yeah, I think finding the right person is very crucial as a team. Having the profiles to set the strengths and know their strengths is also very crucial. But I think the biggest thing I had in finding a team is just faith and trust. I just go with my gut feeling, and I know if the person is really passionate, and I don't see from an employment perspective as to whether they'll last or whether they're good. I totally want to see if they're really passionate, first of all, and whether they have the fun element, and whether they love what they do, and be a team member. So in finding my teams, I've always been very selective, and sometimes it doesn't work out, but through the successes that I've had so many that stayed on for so long, and they find it hard to leave because now they are something with us, and they might go out there and they might not know how to do it themselves. So working as a team, we are collectively sharing, and therefore we have a sense of belonging together.
Got it. Fantastic. All right. Thank you so much, Mark. You might notice there's a theme in every single one of these secrets, which is just so easy to think the opposite. It's so easy to think, I just got to go out there and hire good people. And so that's what you focus at, as opposed to, wait, I've got to look after the people I've got more, and then people will come to me. I don't have to go chasing them. And that's actually focusing on a entirely different area. So your blind spot right now, wherever you are in business, is called a blind spot for a reason. You can't see it's there, which means you have to be around others in one form or another, whether it's part of our mastermind, whether it's going out and finding a mentor on your own. But you have to be always knowing that the biggest thing that's stopping you is right in front of your face, and you can't see it because by its nature it's a blind spot. So we've just gone through 2 more, right? I went through and summarized the first 4. We've just gone through 2 more. As you heard Jane talking about, don't cap your dreaming, think bigger. Mark talking about make each of your team members the X-Men, right? I mean, like, make each of them basically focusing at their unique talents and what they're great at, and then you attract more as well. We have our final 2 people who have managed to get onto the call. I'm going to be asking each of them to be sharing, but I'm going to ask already, given that we're coming to the tail end of this already, believe it or not, of this hour together, I'm going to ask everyone already to get active on those the chat that was on. There's a lot of people already posting on there in the entrepreneur movement group. I'd like you to post whatever has been your biggest learning already, just from those first 6 that we've gone through. What's been the biggest thing that you can already be thinking about, already be knowing that if you can find the solution to that one thing, or if you focus at that one thing with the right support, then that could transform the next 3 months for you and the kind of business or the kind of life you can be living if you were to do that, right? So just go ahead, post that. I've got another action for you, so stick around to the end. and I have something very special to share with you at the end as well. So do stick around as we go to our final two. I'm going to come now to Simon Zucchi, who many of you know as the property investor, expert, and mentor in the UK. He has now grown and developed into Australia. He's also going to be coming down to South Africa as well. And I just love the way that Simon has taken what was expertise that he was using for himself in property investing, grew the Property Investors Network all over the UK, and then started using all of our tools within his own mentoring, and now has seen the power of what happens when you create this ripple effect of your own expertise being shared on with others, and at the same time him finding all the support he needs for his own investments as a result of that reputation as well. Simon, we asked everyone at the very beginning of the call to share what would be the one secret, the thing you know now to be true, that when you were starting you had no idea about, and if you had a way to wave a magic wand and go back in time and share to that person, hey, this is the most important thing for you to be thinking about, you would have accelerated your journey even further. So Simon, hello, and what would it be for you?
Hi, Roger, and welcome everybody. So, you know, it's really hard to distill it down to one point. And I've got some of the things I would have said, they've kind of already been covered. So having a vision is really important. But for me, and Chris said he looked around to find a group and he just started one. So sometimes people are waiting for someone else to do it. And I think that's the big thing for me. If you want something and you see it's a good idea, just start. So many people have an idea as an entrepreneur and they never take action. And if you can get support around you and learn from other people who've done what you want to do, well, you're going to be far more successful. And, you know, when I started Property Investors Network, I did it because I wanted to get a support environment around it. I had no idea it would grow to the extent it has. And then after a few years, I thought, actually, yeah, let's have some vision here. Let's grow it. And, you know, as you said, Roger, it's great to be able to tap into the Entrepreneurs Institute and your environment. What you've set up enables anybody to tap into that environment immediately. They don't have to create their own because it's there and they can joint venture or work with you, just tap into it, which is incredible. So there's no excuses not to do whatever you want to do.
I think that's super awesome, and it's great that that's coming up at the tail end of this call. Just get started. I mean, like, you think that can't be a secret? Well, I just have to get started, but it is.
It is. It is.
Like, yeah. I mean, if you were to just talk, you know, Simon, to that whole point that a lot of people think something like property investing is complicated or complex, and it's like, well, I need to have lots and lots and lots of things in place before I actually just say I'm going to take action. And you've seen just the difference of people that have gone into lots and lots of learning, lots and lots of analysis, lots of like whatever it is that they're doing to the nth degree without actually taking action. And then you see the difference of the people that actually have taken action. You know, do you want to share just like, you know, your experience of, is there a downside to taking action? Like when you actually see someone says, right, I'm going to get going, is there a right way to take action in terms of like, you know, through others with the right connections, or just falling flat on your face or throwing all your money at something when you don't know what you're doing? Just in terms of that distinction as well, when someone says, no, I'm not ready for action yet, that there are actually different types of action, and the right path and the right action is actually going to always work if it's done in the right way.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, obviously, I believe education is really important. But you're absolutely right. Some people keep on educating, think, oh, I need to learn just a bit more and just a bit more. And that's not the case. So get some education, learn the basics, and then take action. And, you know, as long as you do your research and your due diligence, you're not going to die. You're not going to go bankrupt. You know, if you take one step forward, if you realize you've gone the wrong direction, you can always turn around and come back. But it's about taking that first step. And you're quite right, Roger, getting other people around you who've been on that journey before you gives you that confidence and belief and the courage to step forward. Because it is, anything new, anything's different outside your normal comfort zone is scary. You know, and that's why most people want to stay in their comfort zone, do the things they know. And the Tony Robbins saying, well, I don't know if it's Tony, but he always says it, if you always do what you've always done, you always get what you always got. So if you want to change, you need to change. And just taking that step in the direction with the support of others around you is a much safer way of doing it.
Awesome. Thank you very much to Simon. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to have Angie as the next person. I'm then going to basically give you some very specific actions you can be taking, and then we're going to wrap it up. We might be about 5 minutes over, but I'm going to wrap it up at the end by giving each person a chance to just give a one-sentence piece of advice. If there was one thing, which could be related to what they just shared, it could be something quite different. So Angie, we wrote about Angie recently. She started, when I first met her, as a PA. She then really got connected to what she loved the most, which she had become disillusioned with, which was the education system. She actually left the education system in the UK, moved out to New Zealand, and then from there, she got back into it again, but she took it one step at a time, where she now has got a multi-million-dollar education empire, but one which is really changing the way that children are now focusing at their learning. It's very child-centered. It's very much about the new 21st century way of learning. It's the education revolution. And she's doing that not just within the preschool center she's got, she's also doing it with her like home education. And you'll see there, she has Education Angels, and now also with Genius School as well. So off to you, Angie, in New Zealand. You've been hearing enough from everyone else. What would you share? You have the final word on this. What would you say is the big secret that you now realize is the truth to a key part of your success that you weren't even aware of when you first got started? And I'm hoping we have Angie, because I just built that up into this big crescendo, right? It looks like we had challenges, and so couldn't get through to you. So if you can hear me, Angie, right now, then and you can't actually get onto this line for some reason, then I would love for you to post into the chat. This is the chat on Facebook, whatever that big thing is for you as well, because I know everyone would love to hear from you. And I had an opportunity to get connected with Angie with a video as well. So I'm going to add that in by the time we get to this weekend as well. So look out for that too. But I'm going to guess we don't have Angie right now. So I'm going to go through those summary of those final three. We had Jane, who talks about don't cap your dreaming. Think bigger, because you create that bigger flower pot, you can create that bigger flower. You heard Mark there talk about how every one of the team members there has to be focusing at being special if you're going to be special. And you also heard Simon there talking about just getting started, just taking action, and realizing that, you know, when it comes to intellectuals need to learn or know in order to do, whereas entrepreneurs need to do in order to know. The learning actually comes from the action itself. And by trying something out and being around others and saying, what did I do wrong here? What can I do differently? Here's what my challenge is. And getting that instant advice and that instant guidance that's going to help you personally on where you are as well. Everything is possible. You know, if someone says to me, is it possible to learn how to fly? I said, absolutely, but make sure you go to flight school. If someone says, is it possible to be an entrepreneur? I said, absolutely, but make sure you get around other entrepreneurs and you actually learn from them as well. So what we've put together is fundamentally a flight school. It allows you within 3 months to be able to build the business you want with the success you want in the right way. And we've had enough experience doing it again and again with people from all different countries as well. So here's the action I'd like you to take. I'm actually gonna just share my screen one final time. And here, and then I'm gonna give everyone a chance to share their final words as well. So here is my screen. And it has just gone midnight here in America on the Pacific coast. Here is everyone's links. We're posting them all down. So anyone that you have heard from on this call, do get connected with them, because every single person who has shared, they are practitioners, they are entrepreneurs, they're out there actually making the difference themselves. Do make sure that on the Facebook group here that you have posted whatever is the biggest distinction or action you know you need to be taking, right? So you can post that down here. I love that photo from Robin. They're all in there. Okay, good one. So everyone do make sure that you post it, but this is the biggest action of all. I really want you to come and join us. I mean, like, we're only doing this once this year, where we're actually taking this 12-week program together. So on this link here, where we have these 5 days left, you can wait till the weekend, but why not just jump in right now? Take yourself and say, what would it be worth if I could actually just shift myself from where I am to where I want to go? Do I think that Roger and the Entrepreneurs Institute Network and the community that we've built is the right pathway for you? Take the action, come on board. It is not expensive. It's like $147 a month to actually just be a part of all of this. But what you're getting as a result of being in it is you're getting the opportunity to work directly with me, get behind the scenes, walk through step by step every one of the key things that we believe, the 12 steps that will allow you to go from wherever you are right now up to that shift in mindset. It does not happen overnight, but it definitely can happen within 3 months. And we actually set that already for the next week. So think about it. By the end of next week, you're already getting started. By the week after, you've already formalized specifically exactly what your goals are for the next 12 weeks. And we're going to go on that journey together. And this is now no longer just your journey. It's one that you're sharing with me and with everyone else within this network as well. It's just simply a matter of connecting up, click on the button right here, come down to the bottom, see all the details, and then basically decide whether you want to actually go ahead and just book the monthly, or whether you just want to pay in one and save 2 months worth. But either way, by coming on board, you're joining an awesome group of people. The reason I do this, by the way, and this link, by the way, we'll just link that one more time here so you can see it at the bottom as everyone else is posting here. Everything that we're doing, we do, and I do because this is all part of the entrepreneur movement. We all are part of having the opportunity to collectively work together to know that, as Mahatma Gandhi says, you need to be the change. And by being that change ourselves and having that ability to be able to achieve success in our own lives and then expand that out to the success that we can all have, isn't that a whole lot better to be focusing at that as opposed to the negativity in the world and all the challenges in the world and all the reasons that we can't do things? When we shift that mindset around, anything's possible. And most importantly, get around others where you already are seeing that they are achieving the impossible. So with that being shared, I'm going to come around to everyone I just had who's had a chance to share to begin with. I'm going to give everyone a chance to share what would be, if you were to just finish as your final words to everyone, a piece of advice in one sentence. I'm going to go through in the same order, and you can all unmute if you like to, so we can go through this. I'm going to start with Lena. So Lena, what would you share with everybody?
I would say understand your path to value creation first. And if you need to do the world dynamics test, do that. And then focus on your flow. First, learn to say no to all the things that take you out of your flow. But then learn to say no to the things that don't allow you to create the maximum value. And that will not be easy, but that focus.
That's one sentence. That's it. Okay, thank you, Lena. Right, know what to say no to and get focused. All right, awesome. I'm going to come over to Christian next. Hello, Christian.
Hey, Roger. Okay, so I think my piece of advice is really think hard about who are your top 3 role models. So who's out there doing what you would love to be doing, and just go and connect with them. It's so easy to find these people online and just be of value. So top 3 role models and go and connect with them.
Awesome. Thank you, Christian. That is it.
Yes. For me, it's very quick. It's like my tip is to play big and play with the partners. Just like that.
All right, big and with the partners and with big partners. All right.
Yeah, big partners. Thank you.
Hey, Tamami.
Yes. You know, there's a great maps and compasses in this community, and use it and get certain and be a great entrepreneurs.
All right, fantastic. Thank you, Tamami. Jane.
Yeah, I think it's just about be in control of the narrative in your life. Don't allow critics and naysayers to influence that as you're dreaming big, because they always will. And that's up to you to control that. And just surround yourself with the right people. And that's why I'm part of this group.
That's
I love
awesome.
it.
Thank you, Jane. And see you in South Africa very soon.
Yeah.
All right, awesome. Yeah. Mark.
Right. So I think being passionate and having fun is very important. Just follow your direction in your heart.
Brilliant. Awesome. Thank you, Mark. And finally to Simon. Do we still have Simon on the call? I know Simon and Angie were the 2 that were having technical challenges. I think we try to get Simon back on, but maybe Simon will post his down there as well. Well, actually, this is kind of giving me the opportunity to, I guess, have the final word, which is, for me, my big one for you is believe in yourself. And I don't mean believe in your past self or believe in your present self. I mean, believe in your future self. Believe in that dream of who you know you can be, that person who's having the maximum impact in the world with the maximum fulfillment in a way which is achieving the maximum ripples. If you imagine that person who, and you know that person, you've thought about that person many times, but if you think, right, that person's now so real that I need to every day be making sure I'm living up to that person. Because the moment you do that, the moment you believe in yourself with the big Y, the big O, the big U, the moment you do that, your life transforms. So I want to say that as my final word for you. And for everyone who's on the call, I do want to say a huge thank you to each of you, not just for being on this call and for sharing so freely and sharing so openly and so generously, but for also just being the inspiration within your own countries, within your own industry. It's why I do what I do. It's why I love so much what I do, is to be able to actually see every one of you shine and know that that all shines back and allows me to also shine more as well. We're all lighthouses. And the whole job of a lighthouse is not to shine itself, but to shine on others. And every one of you is just awesome in the way that you're doing that. So thanks very much, everyone, for joining the call. Thank you, everyone who's been on the call as well and who shared, for Lena, for Christian, for Nadasit, Tamami, Jane, Mark, Simon. I know, Angie, you're listening as well, even though you managed to get on it. I really, really appreciate it. And I know we'll be catching up somewhere in the world very shortly. And so that's it. We're going to complete on the webinar now. And do make sure everyone finishes by adding your comments down below and jump in and join our program if you're going to be joining us. Thanks a lot, guys, and we'll catch up later. See you. Bye.